Hey everyone, welcome back to the DJ Sessions, where we feature the best DJs, producers, and industry professionals from around the world. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in almost halfway around the world from Glasgow in the UK, we have the Sandman. How you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. Yep. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I think we might be having similar weather as to what it's like over there. What's the weather like over there right now?
The weather's sort of up and down. You can never get days over here where it's not raining. Then you're really on to a winner.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that here in Seattle. We get a little bit of drizzle. I think we have like 200 different types of rain here. And if you own an umbrella or you're walking around with an umbrella, we know you're not from here. Well, Sandman, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions. We want to jump right into the interview and get to know a little bit more about you. Tell us a little bit about the Sandman. What's your background?
Well, you see, I sort of like grew up with sort of get like led in like my musical interests like by my dad. He was the more musical one of the of my parents, and it's really sort of came. I sort of gained an interest in electronic music when I would hear that like dance tunes on like mainstream radio, and I would just like be interested in like where like those artists, where they would like come from, and say that like albums said playlists where you get other songs connected to that from, and it sort of grew from this, that I would like from this explore different artists, and as a result of that I would go on to liking different sounds, and this led to me like going from like sort of liking progressive house, electro, to then after that being led to like a house music, tech house, techno sort of music that I'm into today.
And you started kind of playing in Glasgow for some of the local clubs there, and then you got to go to Ibiza. Is that correct? Or I should say Ibiza. I always pronounce it wrong.
All right. Yeah. Well, I did. Yeah, I went over to Ibiza a for a retreat with some other DJs and uh, some like industry professionals to further me, and I got to play at some really good venues, which the highlight of was I got to headline at Ibiza Rocks.
Nice. Is there one type of sound in electronic dance music that you're really excited about? Or one genre that you're really excited about?
At the moment, I'm really uh, like digging a techno sound, which is and I'm really into this sort of sound where the drum sounds gradually build in. You start with the predominant kick at the start, and then comes your percussive sounds and your shaker, and just gradually comes in a bass line. Well, the bass line's in from the start in a lot of these tracks, and then comes there's normally doesn't tend to be much of a vocal in a lot of these tracks, and you've got a bit of an instrumental too.
Mm-hmm. And now, are you producing as well as DJing, or are you just DJing?
I'm currently at the moment learning. I'm currently at the moment learning to produce. I produced a couple of tracks. I'm currently doing a production certificate with Tool Room Academy, which is obviously a leading um, one of the world leading electronic labels.
Mm-hmm. And what software are they training you on, or do they use?
Well, I'm using for production. I use Ableton Live. I just made the decision from the start to use Ableton Live because it's better to master one than really just trying to get them all in a bundle sort of thing. And there'd be more opportunity for collaborations with Ableton Live because there's more people that I know that use Ableton.
Yeah. If you could pick one track that you play right now in your sets that people need to know about, they need to have and play, what song, what track would that be right now?
I would say recently, this track got released a couple of weeks ago. Problem Solver by the artist Ludes. It's recently come out on Trick Patrick Topping's label, and it's really just captures what Trick label's been about recently. Is that's sort of gone down more of a sort of techno route, and the tracks are just they're just really snappy and just like uh, really good, like from the get go. It's like faster, direct sort of tracks.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been listening to electronic music for?
I'd say I've been listening to it for about a 12 years or so. I mean, I started taking an interest when I started hearing like dance music tracks on the radio, and it would go from that to just really looking at videos and that on YouTube of these tracks getting played out at like festivals and that, and that's what really made me want to become a DJ myself, because I saw with these tracks just the ability that that a DJ has to control a crowd, and I just thought that was something I wanted to do myself. And I also really like the fact of being able to know something that other people don't, and that's why I take so much like joy nowadays from just like digging through records on Beatport, and that it just to find those hidden tracks that that other people wouldn't like say in an EP. And I've had commented on before the fact that I can pick out a killer track.
And if you could take a classic electronic music song pick one classic electronic music song that means a lot to you, and tell us why. Pick one and tell us why it's so good.
I think really, if I had to pick one, I mean, there's so many. If I had to pick one, I think it would be Camel Fat and their track called Deets, which is is a great track. I'm not sure how well it's known, but came out on Swara back in, I think it was back in 2016. Obviously Swara don't release anything like these sorts of tracks nowadays. But the thing which really makes the track stand out for me is the vocal which is in the track. It's just so it's just really it's just a great hook in the track, and it just really you just don't forget it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good selection. Have you ever participated in a competition yet? And do you think are you looking to participate in competitions? Is that something you're going to go for as a
I,
DJ?
I haven't well, I have participated in some like mix, like I've put in a DJ mix for a competition, but I haven't put in any tracks for like a competition yet. It is something like, say, if the if the opportunity came, then I would I would I would do it. But I mean it's got to be. I'm not going to be going out looking for competitions to submit tracks to. I mean the thing for me is I'll be looking for what a label wants and what a label sounds like, and well, what that I like, and trying to make a record like that to try and get them to sign my track.
Mm-hmm. And you also, in addition to DJing and learning producing, you do a podcast series called The Sandman in His Castle. What is the premise? If you had to tell me what that podcast is about, tell us what that podcast is all about.
Well, I interview DJs about their background in music and their career, and obviously based on said artists' profile, would I would like ask some different questions and that and whatnot, and obviously I would, if any other questions which come to mind during the podcast come up, then I would ask them that in the moment then. And it's really been really interesting for me doing this. And I guess really how it got started was I've for the past couple of years I've been released each week. I release like across the different genres, 4 different playlists of um, like, with tracks in them, and this is just a great way of building relationships with artists, and from there, and well, I'm obviously helping the artists by sharing their tracks, and it's just a great way to start conversations with them.
And it looks like you're talking to DJs and producers from all over the world. Is that correct?
Yes. It's really. I mean, I've interviewed uh, interviewed DJs uh, from like America and Canada, all the way over to Japan and Australia, and I've had a good number from the all over Europe.
And how do you go about finding the guests for your show? Is there criteria? Are you part of a group, or do you just say, "I listened to you. Would you like to come on my show?"
No, well, it's basically just I say to them, I say to them basically that I say to them that I'm a fan of what they've been producing, and the, tell them to uh, keep up, and if they respond with that, then I'd normally go back and tell them the for my podcast and ask them if tell them I'd love to have them on and ask them if they want to come on, which sometimes gets a response, sometimes doesn't. But I mean, it's I mean, if you don't ask, if you don't ask, you don't get. So you got to put yourself
That's one
out
of
there.
our that's one of our rules here at the DJ sessions that I talk to a lot of people about when they say, "How do I go about doing this?" And I say, "Well, first of all, don't be afraid of getting a no, and you're going to miss 100% of the shots you never take."
Yeah,
I didn't come up with that last quote though. Somebody else famous probably said that, and I heard that a long time ago. And um, just going out there and knocking on doors, and and trying to introduce yourself and let people know who you are. I mean, that's part of promo. That's part of doing promotions of your brand, and letting people know you exist. And same thing goes, for being a DJ or a producer. You got to knock on the doors of the labels, or you got to get in front of the nightclubs or the promoters, and to let them know who you are, so you might be able to play there one day, or they might take your tracks on and play your tracks. So um you know as a well, I guess it wouldn't be a newer DJ. You've been DJing for about 12 years, you said, right?
yeah.
What was one of the hardest things for you to learn as a DJ starting up?
Well, I guess really the which thing which I'd say I still struggle with now is the whole time management aspect of it, because now being a DJ is not just about it's not just about playing music. It's There's so much more to it. It's like um, you've got to social media is king now, and you've really got to be across all areas of social media. You've got to do mixes yourself. You've got to produce. You've got to like send emails to people, and obviously with the podcasts I do, I've got to like edit them and get them out. So there's a lot of things uh, go into it, and it can be difficult at times to uh, take care of every have all bases covered.
Yeah, definitely. That can be time consuming. I know all about that. Um, do you get a chance to go out to a lot of shows in Glasgow?
Yeah, there's a there are a, lo- the- this underground scene in Glasgow is really good. And I mean, the sorts of uh, clubs that there are, and there's obviously a big a big DJ in the techno scene. Slam is basically home to Glasgow, so and he has a residency in one of the clubs in Glasgow, so he's back quite regularly. But no, there's lots of other like scenes in the clubs in and around Glasgow that are that are there to go and see events at. And I mean, it doesn't have to. I mean, it doesn't have to always be someone that you've heard of. I mean, going out to see someone new is really how really could be how you uh, get to know that person. I mean, you find out someone new.
Do you ever get a chance to meet these DJs that come through and get to like talk with them at all?
It's part of what I do. Like when obviously the chance comes. I mean, I was recently down in Brighton for Brighton Music Conference, and there were a number of obviously professional DJs like speaking at those events at a at that event, and it's a good chance afterwards. Well, like just when they finish, like to go and speak to them, ask them also if they would want to come on my podcast, and sort of like build a relationship with these people that way. And it's really about networking, like being supportive of the people that are getting to know you, and that is really how you will get to know people. Like out at clubs, you will come across other people who are wanting to make it as a DJ also, and you just get like through getting to know people at clubs is how, is like how you can go from that to a like possibly picking up fans and that along the way who could possibly then come to your events.
And it sounds like you're already going to some music festivals. Will you be attending ADE this year?
I haven't decided. I'm currently not going at the minute. I haven't yet been able to source tickets.
I don't think they've gone on sale yet, but I might be wrong.
Well, I imagine they would have, because I mean I got my tickets for Brighton a good deal in advance, and this is, I mean, the thing. Well, first of all, the reason one of the reasons I'd want to go to Amsterdam is when I was in London not too long ago. There was a guy in a like small headphone lab who told me that the best and this was like the best headphone shop I've ever been to. He told me that the best one that he'd experienced was in Amsterdam, so I want to track that down.
The headset shop or the event?
No, well, I want to take them in both at the same time.
Oh.
And the other thing about about ADE, which I feel would be really good and helpful for me, is I think this is more of an international one sort of than Brighton Brighton was, and I think I would really get a chance to run into the sorts of like European DJs that are heading the labels that I aspire to get signed on, sort of like your Spartak, your Metodi Hristov, other DJs sort of that ilk. And I think it's just a bigger, like, sort of global conference.
Hmm. Definitely. Well, we're looking to make it there this year. Hopefully, we should be able to make it there this year. We have big plans for it, but it'd be great to see you there if you're over
Uh,
there.
yeah, I certainly
So,
look at yeah.
so, is there anything else you'd like to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you get back to the studio or get back to work over there?
Um, it's uh, well, just really a bit of advice. I mean, if you're I mean, I know there'll be people who be watching this who are sort of just like sort of getting into it, like like you getting to like know things. It's really important. Just like if you feel like there's too much to do, don't overwhelm yourself. If you can, what I've found is if you can get down like habits that you stick to, like sort of I did with the playlists and the podcasts and whatnot. You just stick to things, try and build bit by bit what you're doing. Like if you get the mixes down and out and like publicized like on social media and whatnot. They I like then when you've got that down, do start trying to look into production. And there's the you say I mean you certainly have time. I mean, it's not something that's gonna happen overnight, and you really just that keep going. And it's also it's really important to have a presence on social media, like get to know people there, because that's basically where your fan groups are uh, gonna come from. And uh, with regards to social media, two people I can highly recommend to help you grow in that are Graham Farmer and Paul Hutchinson.
I don't know those two, but are they two you work
They,
closely with?
they're two. They are two people who spend a lot of their Paul Hutchinson's he's the one who actually got me into doing the podcast. Uh, he lots puts up lots of like free posts every like every week on like social media with regards to what you should be doing to build your Instagram, your Facebook, other social media platforms as well. And Graham Farmer works at Data Transmission, and he's got a lot of good advice as well.
There definitely is a lot of podcast, a lot of shows, a lot of videos and tutorials out there to help people start in almost everything. If you probably think you could think of it, there's probably a podcaster or a show out there about it. And if there isn't, well, maybe that's the key, that's the sign to make a show about it.
Yeah.
So one more time, your podcast name is, I'm going to do something really cool here, a little feature called The Sandman in the Castle.
The Sandman in his castle.
In his castle. Oh no. Let me get that right. I Sandman in, I don't know how I got that right. In his castle. Are you a Sandman comic fan?
No, no, I'm not. It's just the Sandman is actually, funnily enough, is just a name I used to get called at school.
That's interesting. And you just said that's my DJ name.
Yes, I thought it sounded quite cool, so I just thought I'd go with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. Where can people find out more information about you and what you have going on?
Well, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, on Mixcloud, SoundCloud. Haven't quite yet summoned up the courage to go on TikTok. But I should probably actually get around to it. You be able to find me if you go to www.socialtap.com/the Sandman DJ.
That works. Let me see if I can get that up really quick here for our audience members. I might be able to get it. There we go. Boom. Let me grab this. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. We're using new software, new technology over here all the time. And we're going to get that up and running for you right now. So if people want to check that out, boom. That it right there? Socialtap.com?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sandman DJ. All right. Cool. I love technology and how things have made this live streaming interview process so much easier. Thank you for coming on the show today, Sandman, all the way from Glasgow. And we'll be following up with you in the future too. Want to see how you progress, want to see how you grow. Look forward to maybe meeting you in person one of these days overseas.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much. And on that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us online, find us on TikTok, find us on Twitter, Twitch, all those places. You can go to our website, thedjsessions.com. It has all our socials there. This is the Sandman coming in from Glasgow. I'm Darren, coming to you from Seattle, Washington, in the virtual studios for the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. And remember, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.